Hi, this is Andrew Sears again, and I'm just going to give you an overview of the Stakeholder Map assignment and give you an example. The idea behind this assignment is to draw a visual image of your stakeholders and a quick summary of kind of some of the key cultural dimensions for those. So as I talked in my previous presentation, I kind of showed this slide that often we are called to be bridge builders between our clients and resources. And this is the template that we're providing to you is basically this diagram. And what you can do is there's a section of text, and you can copy that to create the different stakeholders that you might be serving, in addition to the staff and others in your organization. So as an example, I want to show a stakeholder map for City Vision. So City Vision, our clients, are students, and we're trying to get students to resources like jobs and federal aid and things along those lines. So we have two main groups that we serve in City Vision. One is program participants at organizations that are serving the poor or serving at-risk communities. So many of these folks come from backgrounds where they're destitute, they're homeless, they were addicted. They largely reflect the poverty demographics in the United States. So that's one group, but that group's farther on the bridge from us. And that's why I showed it, graphically. The other group is staff at organizations serving the poor and other nonprofits. Now, we do serve others beyond that, but this, these are two core groups, and I wanted to simplify it. And that group largely is middle and working class Christian bridge builders. Our student demographics are 60% female, average age 40, 29% black, 41% people of color, so that's 59% white. So then, how are we serving them? Kind of the first tier for us serving them is our student services and admissions. So we have, one staff in each of those positions. So they're working class women. Whenever I say working class identified, meaning that that's their primary community that they're connected with, and one black, one white. And then myself, our COO Evan, and Josh are all working class identified white men, and Linda is adding to that to make it 75% men, 25% women. But part of what makes our staff unique is most of us have fairly close ties to those who are barely making it. And so, we're not, most of us, the typical, upper middle class where we're very removed from poverty. But maybe, one or a couple steps, removed. So, and then the next tier are our faculty, and our board, and, with our faculty, they have to meet the requirements of accreditation. So often, some of them are close to those serving the poor, some of them aren't. Our board is largely white Christian leaders in education or in organizations serving the poor. And then there's folks in our organization, like our financial manager, that her main role is to keep a lot of those with resources, provide the documentation that they need. And we also work with consultants that will help work with them. And in the past, we've had development staff that they're the closest on the bridge to those with resources. And the first group there is individual donors and Christian foundations. Largely, that is made up of upper middle class white Christians. And then there's other groups out there. So with accreditation, you have what's called the triad. You have the accreditor. And DEAC, part of what I like about them is they are more of a working class accreditor and have values aligned with the working class. Missouri Department of Higher Education, you always have to have a state that you're licensed out of, and we're licensed out of Missouri. And then the U.S. Department of Education, honestly, our biggest challenge is working with the U.S. Department of Education, which I would say is dominated by upper middle class white Democrats that, and they create regulations that honestly make it very difficult for us to effectively serve at-risk communities. Now, we also are trying to connect people with jobs, and if you live in the U.S., a lot of the jobs, the majority culture in most work environments is middle class white. So, it's easy to say, oh, well, we have to have all our values aligned with one side or the other, and, the progressive way is to be aligned, with the values of the poor. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get people across the bridge. And if we have a bridge to nowhere and we're not accredited, then our degree isn't worth anything. And if we don't provide quality education, then we're not able to get you the job. So, so that's part of why things are the way they are. And as an organization, we've had to shift, where our center is. I would say earlier on, our center was much closer to the poor. And then, honestly, Department of Education dramatically increased their regulation. And what that has done is that's made it so that we have to have, more people in line with their values. And more of our work has to be in line with their values. So that pulls us in this direction. So, one of the questions that you'll be asked is, what's the primary challenge the organization faces? Well, our primary challenge is the Department of Education. Some of their rules are just onerous and just really, really difficult to work with. They don't really serve an effective purpose, and they make it really difficult for us to serve those who serve the poor, and especially the poor themselves. I know they don't understand why that is the case, but that's the case. So your goal in this is going to be to prepare a stakeholder map like this for your organization. You may have an organization that follows a simple map, like you have clients and you have resources, and you might have different groups. So you could have a client group for, maybe you have a white, group that you serve, and a black group and a Latino group, and you might separate them that way. I did it based on staff at nonprofits and those who are coming out of poverty. So, you may be able to follow this map, and you can use the template that looks like this map. But if not, I have also provided an open-ended template that allows you to just basically draw whatever diagram you'd like. And you can, connect. And it doesn't even have to be clients and resources at one end. You might have more than one. So I don't want to make it too simple for you, but I wanted to provide an example. So you're going to submit this, upload your PowerPoint document. If you have a hard time finding access to PowerPoint, you can upload this into Google Slides. Google Slides is free. Anyone can create an account, and then you can upload this template in Google Slides. And you should be able to download from there and then upload into the forum and then answer the questions in the forum. So if you have any questions, just ask your faculty. Thanks.